Hey everybody, this is Wardrake, and I gotta admit, I am an avid StarCraft 2 fan. I've played many hours of StarCraft 2. In fact, I started with StarCraft 1 not terribly long ago, and fell in love with it pretty much immediately. And so when I see articles like this, it really kind of hurts me when it comes down to the respect I usually have for the top players all around the world. An article that was posted on a few different websites, and I'll link them below, of course, talks about South Korea investigating possible fixed matches. Apparently, in January, they started this investigation, as there have seemed to be some competitors who've been doing this. And unfortunately, the results are in, and it's not good news. A total of 11 persons have been found to be involved with a current scam. 6 of them had been the ones making the payoffs. 2 players who were throwing the matches, they were both very well-known players. 1 who brokered the arrangements, and one who bet on the players with the inside information to win, and one person who was described as the financial backer. However, this person is still at large. The 2 players, one of them being a 10-time champion winner, Lee, known as Life Seung-hyun, and another player, Bung, BB Young, Woo Young. These were both champions that have been around for quite some time. They're fairly well known in the StarCraft 2 fan roster, or not fan roster, I should say. They're known to fans. They're fairly influential when it comes to the game. They're inspirations, I should say, in how they play. And they've been caught throwing these matches. In fact, Life was paid about 60 grand in American money. Of course, I don't have the amount that it would have translated in their currency for his throwing the game, which is about 7 times the amount he would have received if he had won the tournament. That's a huge difference in price when you're looking at, I could win around 9 grand, or I could win 60. That's pretty deciding, especially when you're doing this as your profession. More importantly than the money, though, was the fact such a well-known and respected StarCraft player was caught fixing matches. And that doesn't speak any truer than as it is there. Life and BB Young were very influential. They had tons of fans. They had a lot of respect, especially in the StarCraft 2 community. And now they are basically worthless. I mean, I know that sounds really harsh and mean, but they don't matter anymore in the tournament style. They're going to get life bans, and rightfully so, whether I like it or not. However, apparently these are not crimes of opportunity, according to the Korean police. Quote, "The crimes were perpetrated with clear division of roles. Financial backers to put up the compensation for match fixing, brokers to solicit the match fixing and transfer the funds, and an employee in charge of receiving gambling funds and placing bets on gambling sites." Close quote. Both Life and BB Young were convinced into doing this by their quote-unquote fans, but those are actually the brokers, telling them everyone was doing it. This doesn't, however, excuse the fact they chose to do it. I will never believe that somebody should do something just because everyone is doing it. If something doesn't feel right, if you don't think it's right, don't do it. No matter who tells you, or what anybody tells you, or who's doing it. One thing, however, that is very tempting about throwing the matches is the difference in prizes. Unfortunately, and Blizzard has been trying to get the Korean tournaments to stop doing this, but they won't. They have a winner-takes-all kind of mentality with their prizes. In fact, the GSL, the Global StarCraft 2 League, Season 1 of last year, had a difference payout of first place winner getting $36,000 That sounds pretty good, right? The runner-up getting 9,600. Now that's a massive drop. And the 2 quarterfinals winners getting a measly 2,200. I don't know about you, but throwing a match for anywhere from 30 to 60 grand instead of getting your $9,600 sounds a lot more tempting. I still wouldn't do it myself, but it doesn't surprise me when people do. So the question is, how can these things be prevented and fixed? Well, it's not so easy. First off, sorry for any background noise. Anyway, first off, it's not so easy to just check into these things before the matches happen. However, you can kind of observe the players as they're playing, and if all of a sudden they seem to be not doing nearly as well, that could be a tell. That's not always the case, though. Everyone has a bad day, or they just lose their groove when it comes to playing the game. So that's not a guarantee. It's also difficult to try to figure these things out before the tournaments happen. Yeah, you could say, oh, we'll have an inside man. That's easier said than done, mostly because you don't know exactly who the financial person is, or financial backer is of this. He's still at large. People don't necessarily know who he is or where he is. So that's also pretty difficult. Beyond that, I'd say the easiest solution, and the article actually talks about this as well, would be to stop doing a winner-takes-all kind of mentality. You're punishing the players who are second, third, and fourth best pretty much in the entire world, or at least in the Korean matchmaking. And they have to live off these wages. You know, they don't have jobs usually beyond Starcraft because they're training all day, every day. They have schools dedicated to these things. And if you take away their living just because they're second best, third or fourth best, then you're kind of hurting yourselves as well. Anyway, those are just my opinions. I'd like to hear yours. Go ahead and write them down in the comments below. Give this video a like if you did like it. If you didn't, then give it a thumbs down. Your choice. All in all, thank you for joining me. I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.